Hello, Wheel of Time fans. Just a quick little note up top. We are still dialing in our audio. I got Justin a nice mic, and it sounded a little echoey when we were recording, and then upon editing it, it sounded very echoey. So we will fix that next time. Apologies. We are aware. We have the technology. We just need to keep pushing forward. Thanks for the listens. Please like and subscribe and tell a friend, and email us. thankthelight@gmail.com. Questions, comments, corrections, hate mail. Let us know. Let us have it, good or bad. Thank the light. Thank the light, everyone. I'm Desmond, and this is my hetero life mate,
Justin Gaines. What's up? Fetty the Chef. Also, Wolf Brothers on @ParchedEalman on Twitter. Come say what's up.
Hello. So, I guess we're going to probably, at least for the time being, our podcast is going to start with corrections and omissions, hosted by Justin Gaines.
Yes, hosted by Justin Gaines and with my official Wheel of Time historian, Jeremy Gaines, my cousin. He was on my ass. He's like, no, that's not the thing. I was like, shit. I guess the only corrections I have is apparently I think there was only one Aes Sedai that died in the Battle of Logain. The one of the Reds got pincushioned with arrows, but I think that was the kind of like short-haired kind of Asian-looking gal, and I saw her later. So I think it might have only been the one Red, and obviously she has no warders. So I think the rest of the people they buried was like Logain's army.
Wow.
So yeah, and that's what I could tell. That's one of the things my cousin pointed out. And also, I screwed up. Atlanta was not the Keeper of the Chronicles, and we find out real quick. I wanted to correct it before we watched the episode because the actual Keeper of the Chronicles shows up. It's not Atlanta. It's someone else. Her name's Leanne. But she actually shows up in this episode, which is really cool. So yeah, I think that is about it as far as... And also, anybody's listening to this, check out the Origins animations. They're pretty good. You should check them out too, by the way. So far I've seen there's an Oegir one, and then there's a Manetheren one that kind of goes into a little bit more depth. It's pretty cool.
Very cool. Yeah, they mentioned the one fallen sister in this episode, but I hadn't put it together that we saw 30 being buried, that we had gotten that wrong.
Yeah, I thought that was when I started looking at it. It's like I think there was only 9 to begin with, and they walked out with 7 or 8. So maybe 2 died, but I think it was just the one, Kareen, Steppen's lady friend. We all know what happened to poor Steppen.
So we watched episode 6, The Flame of Tarvalon, and a lot and nothing at all happened in this episode.
Much ado about nothing, although it was a really fantastic episode. The stuff that they did show was really setting you up for, and the end was I don't know if there's a word for nerd boner, but I think it happened.
Yeah, this might be a little early in the podcast to ask this, but where are we in the books?
Okay, I mean it's they're pretty true to them. They've skipped a trip to Camelin, which is kind of just on the way to Tarvalon anyway. And they've kind of mashed up a few of the scenes in there, like Logain, Grand Scene, Logain, that kind of stuff. And so it's like they're mashing up a little bit, but they're staying pretty true to it. As far as like the timeline, obviously they're moving very fast for story progression, but they're running, and then you find out at the end of the episode they're going exactly where I think they're going. So
the ways, so like in the book, do they go to the ways? Like, is this like, do they like go to the ways like the end of book 1, or are we like in the middle of book 1?
No, that's how they get to it's probably like 3/4 of the way. And so they heal Matt, extensively to where he can be away from the dagger, but he's not here. They need the dagger to separate him from it completely, and they need to go get it. And so that's kind of they're doing the whole Moiraine is going to do penance thing as an exile thing as the reason. That was like the reasoning for them to go north at this point. It was her, she's going to do penance, but she's really going to go to the Eye of the World with fucking Dragon Reborn. And so, the reason why they do that in the books is because they have to go get the dagger or Matt's going to die. But she knows that, they're kind of going to the same.
Okay. So this episode starts out with, to people like me, we don't know who it is. And it's just a girl fishing with her dad. She's got some powers. And then they come back to their dwelling.
House, their dwelling, basically.
But what is it spray paint? Like, it looks like it's been trashed, but then there's no one there.
So what they do...
What are we supposed to get out of that?
So... First of all, where she's from is a place called Tyr. They do not like channelers at all.
Okay.
Scrawling a dragon's fang on someone's business or someone's house is kind of like, it could be something as like, I don't like my neighbor because he's up loud and beats his wife, or it could be something like, I think this person is evil. I don't like channelers, or they're involved with whatever. Generally, it's done as almost, I don't want to say like when gangs tag their area, but it's almost like that because it's kind of an implied threat.
It's kind of I guess it's just a scarlet letter.
Yeah.
But like when they approached it, it seemed so like, oh, someone's gonna come get her. But it's just some teenagers fucking with the house.
Probably more like villagers that can't explain why her and her dad always catch hella fish, and they're mad about it.
Oh.
And so they go scroll the back. I mean, like I said, it's usually more petty shit than actually someone who's evil.
That makes sense. We're all trying to make a living here, and you got all the fish, and we're starving over here.
It's like, what the hell? You one-armed fisherman, you catch hella fish. And so and Tyr is kind of, it's not outlawed per se channeling, but like they don't go around channeling openly there because it's
okay. So shortly after that, she shoves off. Dad sends her away to the White Tower, says, she doesn't want to leave, of course, but he's like, you can't stay here. And if anybody at the White Tower gives you shit for who you are, you don't take any guff off these swine, basically. Pigs! And then we just
jump straight to the hall of the tower.
Yeah, then do we jump straight to her? So this is the woman that showed up in the last episode by name only.
Yeah, if you notice the tattoos on the chest.
Yeah.
And what I'm thinking is that there is a whole, I've been kind of talking with the Twitter fandom a little bit with people who really love the Wheel of Time, and there is a whole group of people called the Sea Folk, are pretty cool, but like they could kind of make the Sea Folk from Tyr almost and kind of just do away with them. I kind of could see that happening because it's a lot of story that they'd have a lot. There's a lot more screen time they could be told, better stories to tell. That's just a thing I noticed because the Sea Folk are definitely, they have tattoos. They're at sea most of their lives on ships, and they fish and they trade, and it's just I don't know. It just kind of made me think of it with her with the tattoos and stuff. That's all.
And I think we pretty much jumped straight to the meeting of the leaders. Is it leaders? Like I don't know what the terminology is, but like
they're the sitters of the hall.
Like how many are there? I know I'm jumping kind of like ahead, but are there like hundreds of blues and hundreds of yellows and hundreds of greens? Or are there like a half dozen of each color?
I think at this point there's probably a few thousand total Aes Sedai. I'd say probably maybe 5,000 to 8,000.
Okay.
And I think there's probably more greens and blues.
And are these known Aes Sedais or just people with powers?
No, these would be Aes Sedais in the tower who have taken the tests and have studied in the tower. There are other channelers in this world that are not Aes Sedai, and we can talk about them anytime, but like it's not, we probably don't want to get into it right now, but there are people who aren't trained in the tower who can still channel, even though the tower kind of seems to have this it's like a snobbiness, like, oh, you couldn't possibly learn to channel the one power without us, you'll die. And it's like, well, yeah, some people will, but other people, they have, it's like passed down through generations of family, like, no, this is gonna happen because you're my daughter, and it's probably gonna happen around this time. You're gonna have to figure it out. So why
can't I just use this power to catch hella fish? Why do I have to go to the White Tower and praise the one?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So there's,
and then she's the Amyrlin Seat, and so she's kind of like the main person in power. She's decides who, she takes reports from everybody and decides on judgments and other things like that. And then there should be 3 sitters from each tower, so from each Aja. I mean, so that'd be what, 21, I think.
27.
They're called the Hall of the.
Isn't there 9 or is there only 7?
There's 7 Ajas.
Oh yeah. That's right.
And so
then...
there's 3 sitters from each Aja that could make up the Hall of the Tower. And they apparently, it's kind of like, think of it as like president and the house is like, they can kind of like, their powers are equal but different kind of type of thing. They can thwart each other if they want, like politically.
Well, one thing is for sure, these are some catty.
Oh yeah. Oh. There's a lot of political undercurrents in the tower.
I hate to use a sexist term, but they're kind of assholes. And and I'm sure they somewhat have their reasons, but for this to be our introduction, like I just would have assumed that we would kind of like see them playing ball for a while and then the bitchiness would slowly dig in. But it's like from the get-go, they're like, I'm green, go fuck yourselves. We're blue to the core, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah. We're here, we're yellow. Go fuck yourself. Oh, all right. Well, yeah, and honestly, like, the tower has been working towards this division for many, many years, and it comes later in the timeline in the books, but I think they're moving it up, and I think it's good for storytelling because by the time you get to the tower being so divided, and you're like, wait, what is happening? This isn't supposed to happen. Even you've been reading the books for so long, you're like, oh man, the White Tower, they're united. No, they want to kill each other, kind of. Like everybody's got their own agendas, and there's some who, I think it's like any profession, there are people like who do it for the love. You can't have bad apples, okay, that are cops. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So these guys eat but I think there's a lot of bad apples and maybe not so bad apples, but they're not good Jedis. They're definitely a little more out for personal gain than they would like to admit.
And Moiraine is really coming off as the lone wolf in this meeting, and then
lies.
Yeah, and we find out. So I brought up the door, which apparently that's because I mentioned it last time, and you were like, I don't know what you're talking about. And
when we get to that part of the episode, I got like 10 minutes on that.
Okay.
Not really. I think they're accepted, which are kind of like you're a novice, and then you take one set of tests and you become accepted, and then you take another test, and then you can like be full eyes today and choose your Aja. I think it was accepted that brought Logain in because I don't think they would trust the novices with him, but they can channel enough to be about their business, and he's not.
And they didn't have any color yet. They had some weird tannish, grayish.
Yeah, they pretty much
non-color. So that would make sense. They had enough power to be a guard, but they haven't chosen their sect yet.
Yeah.
So the Amyrlin Seat.
You're a Padawan. You got your lightsaber.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to go doing missions by yourself.
Nice braid. So the Amyrlin Seat, she's pissed off because they gentled Logain, and she wanted to make sure, they wanted him to be brought to justice before they used any power on him. And they're just like, hey, this guy was, he rose up, we knocked him down. Trust me, if it wasn't for us, a lot more people would have died. And so she's like, and the Amyrlin Seat is like, I guess so, but I'm still going to punish you, which we don't really see. And is that Lorraine that she says she's going to punish?
Well, she's kind of up Leandrin's ass, and then Leandrin's like, oh, well, didn't she tell you about, this hella strong 90? Yeah, Leandrin kind of puts Moiraine on blast and like to save her own ass. And then me personally, obviously you see later, but immediately I'm like, Siuan is seizing on this to punish Moiraine because they're supposed to be, obviously they're very close, but they are, meant to be like, oh, they don't like each other at all.
Yeah, she really gives Moiraine a lot of shit. Like, where have you been? What's your business? Don't give me any shit. Blah, blah, blah. And we're like, wow, Moiraine is really going to catch it. And then what happens, Jess?
Wait, what?
When we think that Moiraine and the Amyrlin Seat are sworn enemies.
Yeah, okay, so they... obviously you find out a little bit later they're very close, but they've been postulating that they're enemies because they've actually been hunting for the dragon for, years and years, besides their, personal relationships that they have. And they were very close in the books, but, that's a new closeness. But the thing that she's wearing in her hair, the Amyrlin Seat, that could be a Terran Griot. Just saying that. A power item. There's these things that pop up. They're called like a well. They have another name for them too, but they can like store a certain amount of the power in them. And so if they go to a place where they suddenly couldn't channel, they could still have access to the source. Not a lot. It's a finite amount. It looks very intricate. So I just feel like it might be something.
And she and Moiraine also at some point she unattaches or unbonds with Lan.
It's not a unattachment. It's more like masking the bond. Like,
oh, that's right. He does say mask the bond.
And it's the main reason is because he doesn't want. She's gonna go do naughty things with Siuan, and he doesn't want her to, because he'll feel what's going on.
Well, she unbonds. She masks it before that. She doesn't reinstate the bond before she goes, but she had already disconnected from him like before she went to the meeting.
Yeah.
To like basically give him some time off for good behavior.
I do think to a certain extent she's hiding her closeness with Siuan. I mean, he knows, but like I don't think he knows all, and I think that's why maybe he does. Maybe he suspects because he's a smart guy, but he kind of was like, "I'll see you in the morning. I'll give you till dawn or whatever." And I was like, "You better unmask because I'm gonna be worried if you don't."
Yeah, I'll go protect our 5 while you go do whatever it is you do.
Right. And also, she that whole thing. So I'm thinking that the picture must be some sort of terangrial because there's some talents. Like every person kind of has talents in the power, and some people can like find ore in a mountain, or are particularly like Nynaeve is a healer. Obviously, she's badass at healing. Clearly, like so one of the talents is like, okay, Logain, he can see Ta'Veren, so I think he wasn't I was thinking that last episode he was laughing at Rand and Matt because he could still maybe feel that they could channel, but I forgot he can still see people who are Ta'Veren. Like he sees like a nimbus around them, like so they look different to him, so he knows that they're Ta'Veren looking at him. I think that's why he's laughing. So I don't think he can still tell that one of them can channel. He might just kind of put 2 and 2 together, like, oh, maybe one of these guys can channel because they're very strong Ta'Veren,
Yeah, he begs to be put to death when he's in the White Tower. Logain does. And is that because it seemed twofold. One, he doesn't like living without the powers. He'd rather be dead. But also, the faster he's killed, the faster he can be reincarnated, be spit out by the wheel a long ways away from these ladies, and then he can get back to business.
I kind of feel like that was sort of what he was saying, but I didn't really think that in depth about it. That's a good point. I kind of like that. But I think it's more like a big part of it is like, okay, well, yeah, my chance here, this life is done, so just kill me and get it over with. And plus, I don't want to live without the power, so fucking just do it,
The power!
Rand needs to calm down when Moiraine comes in, and he thinks that... oh, yeah, it's officially not Matt, too, by the way. Matt can't channel. He's not the dragon. They said it in this episode.
Did they say that?
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
Somebody
okay.
He can't channel, and Moraine's like, I know.
Well, no, that's just because she sucked the power out of his face. I mean, he could still...
Well, no, they say that he can't...
He can't channel right now, but even she says that, like, I get that he's not the one, but I don't think he's powerless.
Yeah, no, he's not powerless, but he definitely doesn't have the power. He can't channel.
Yeah, that happened.
They definitely say that.
That happened really quickly. That was, they're kind of trying to mask Moraine's loyalty at this point, and so they're kind of playing her against the kids a little bit. Like she's with the kids, but keeping them separated. It seemed like a really quick scene. I don't feel like anything led up to it, where she just kicks the door in, says, whatever you hear, don't come upstairs. And then she just goes upstairs and exercises Matt just like that, like without any hint. Like, had she been like, why did she know to go there and exercise Matt?
I don't really know on that one. It's a good question. She just came in and he's looking real pale and sick, and Rand starts screaming.
I want to read my favorite Wikipedia quote right now. It is revealed that Moiraine and Siuan are secretly working together to find the Dragon Reborn, and are also, quote unquote, pillow friends.
Pillow friends. Oh God.
Fantastic.
That wasn't in the books.
Really?
I mean, they allude to a lot of stuff. They kind of like leave it up to like they were really close. The Eyes to Die, or It's a Lonely Life. So it's like, yeah, it's not that surprising.
like you say, everything is kind of shorthand to speed it up, and it's like, well, we could have 100 conversations, or we could just make out, and then we'll get it immediately.
Well, and I could only imagine if you're already close friends, and then you spend 20 years looking for the savior of the world, and you can't tell anyone else about it, you're probably going to get really close with that person. I would assume. Just saying. And yeah,
and she doesn't have a award, does she?
She, I don't know yet. In the show, I don't know. In the book, she does have one, but he's like the trainer of all the warders, so they're like not together a lot unless she leaves the tower.
Okay.
Usually, yeah. So, and I don't know. It's like I wonder if Matt's fully healed or if he's only partially healed from the dagger, because she definitely took all the nasty black stuff out of him. But I think there's something to be said that like it's not. They got to do a little bit more, I think, to separate him from it, I think.
So,
but I don't know.
Moiraine asks to be exiled. That's her way out, because there was another Aes Sedai said, you need to hang out at the towers. We need your help here. And so she knows the only way that she can get back on the road and handle business with the Dragon Reborn is to get exiled. So during the exile ceremony, it is my premonition that it is not exhalation that was passed through the baton. I believe Moiraine was given an extra power by the seat that will come in handy later in the story.
See, that's one way. See, that's what I do like about talking to somebody who hasn't read the books, is because like a lot of my perceptions of things are definitely colored. And I probably will be right about 70% of it, but then there's going to be a lot of it that they'll either change or it's going to be wrong. That's the oath rod. Usually it's when they take their oaths to be the final Aes Sedai, they channel into it, and that's what makes those oaths binding. So in the book, when people swore on the oath rod after their initial raising, it was kind of to prove that they weren't a dark friend, or maybe don't have they have everybody's on the same page type of thing. Like, you can't say you misunderstood this. You can't dance around the truth. You can feel the sentiment in the words, and the power won't let you stray from that mission,
And you're also just bound by a spell too. Like, you literally can't lie.
Yeah, that's what the oath rod does. It's like it makes it like a bone deep type of thing. So it's like, what?
And what's the oath rod made out of?
Some things are made out of Quendalar, which is called Heartstone, and that's something that hasn't been made since the breaking. A lot of them are just power-made metal. No,
you already said it. Bone. I'm pretty sure it's a tusk of some sort. It looked ivory-ish.
Yeah, some of that one is. They say it's an ivory rod. So there's a black one that's fluted that does a really dangerous weave, and then I think there's another one that does something else too. Dude, the Waygate's coming. I saw the whole episode. I'm like, oh my god. And in their little meeting where she's like, oh, you need to stay around, Megan or whatever. She says something about the ships disappearing off the coast. That's not the dark one. That's major foreshadowing for what's to come in the second season. So just remember. Ships disappearing. Why are my ships sinking?
So Moiraine is exiled, and like this exhalation is pretty gnarly. Like she gets a good grip on that oath rod, and then the women, all the sisters, actually turn away from her as she walks out of the tower. Like they shun her.
When they meet so when they go to meet, like. They're very vague here, but I'm sure they'll explain it. I think because it looks like Siuan's old hut, like fishing hut, where she grew up. It's not like some room that she has in the tower that looks like home. They're meeting in a place called Tel'aran'rhiod. It's the world of dreams. You can go there when you sleep. I've talked about it a little bit. The thing about it is that that's another talent. That's where I was going with the Logain Conceit Severin thing, is that another talent is dreaming, and it's supposedly lost from the world, but there are some people in the world who aren't Aes Sedai who know how to do it very well. So, it's like, but Siuan eventually ends up going there with the help of the ter'angreal, which I think that's what the picture is. It's like a ter'angreal. If you channel into it, it makes you kind of fall asleep and go into the world of dreams. In the books, it's a ring that you put around your neck, and then you go to sleep and you're there. But Moiraine never went there, and Siuan doesn't go there until much, much later. So they are definitely introducing Tel'aran'rhiod early, even if they're not explaining what it is, which is cool. Because like the dream sequences that you've seen Rand in and stuff, that's telling Rihanna too. They've already been there. They just don't realize it. Some people can kind of control what they do.
We'll get to the Waygate here in just a second. What the fuck is her name? Leandrin.
Oh, she's horrible.
So Leandrin and you mentioned this a little bit last time, but now it's obvious that Moiraine and Leandrin have a past and they know about each other. And Leandrin is just, whoo, she's mad.
See, I can't figure it out yet, and I think they're doing a good job of like the misdirection thing. It's like, do her and Moiraine have history, or is like, I think the man that she is meeting in wherever she's going is like a dark friend or like a Forsaken or her boss of whatever. I don't think it's a man that she has romantic interest in. I think it's something else. But I don't think Moiraine knows that.
I don't know. I think Moiraine knows that she's got a dude with powers, with some channeling powers. That's
good. I wasn't thinking that. Oh, that's good.
Because I don't know why else the Seat would be so mad that she's hanging out with some dude, unless...
No, it's her sisters who never take orders and basically despise men. So she's like, what if I told your sisters that you're a liar and you don't despise men? Thinking that she has a lover.
Oh!
I don't think it's a lover. I think it's either a Forsaken or a higher up dark friend that she's kind of answering to or...
Okay.
Feeding information to or something.
I wasn't thinking of other red shirts. I was thinking of I keep forgetting all of these damn terms. The Seat. I thought it was just her that was going to be mad.
Yeah,
but
no, she says, what if I told your sisters, meaning the Reds?
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
So Moiraine hits the road, and I wrote down a note before I got to the end of it. I was like, Moiraine is ditching everybody. Holy shit.
I know. For a half second, I'm like, wait, what is happening?
Like, I knew she wasn't going to ditch him forever, but I thought she might have a mission that she had to do without them, which would have left them exposed for a little while.
Yeah, you guys just hang out in Valon. I'm going to run ahead and hopefully don't get dead or gentled or anything like that.
You guys don't even know that you're all there, but I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Dude, something I did notice about Moiraine is that she didn't lie, but she was kind of dancing around the truth. She says to Egwene, she was like, oh, I have a good authority that they're still alive. But she's already seen Nynaeve, Matt, and Rand.
Yeah.
At that point. And she's kind of still dancing around. So it's like, I wonder why. Maybe she was trying to separate them. I have no idea why she was dancing around that like that. I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't really get it either. Because they're all reunited at the Waygate, and Loyal is there too, and they have a little bit of a discussion about what they're gonna do, and Lorraine is just like, it's on, like the end game has already begun. And so yeah, you can either stay here and die, or you can come with me and maybe live. I don't know,
join the fight.
You're definitely gonna die if you don't do anything. So and do they know, can they control where the Waygate takes you exactly? Or is it just kind of like, let's jump to the other side of the world and figure it out once we get there?
So, two things about the Waygates. I'm curious so Moiraine opened it channeling, and the only reason why I pointed that out as a possibly very important change is in the book, if you know how to use it, you can walk up and move the key from one spot to another, and they open. You don't have to channel. You can just be whatever. And
so it's just open, so I could walk through it.
Yeah, if you knew which leaf it's like a leaf pattern in like all these vines and carved. And if you know which leaf to move where, then it just opens. And so if you have to channel to open it in this, it's going to be an interesting thing, because there are some people in this story who do majorly good and bad things with the ways you can't channel. So I'm curious to see if there's another way to open it, or just that, you know what I mean? Yeah, there's access points all over the world, and that's why Loyal has to go, because all of the like roadmaps, all of the signs are in Uyghur script. So he's the only one who can. Basically, he's their navigator to get to where they need to go.
So are they built by the builders? Are the gates built?
Yes, they were built by the Uyghur. Well, they were built by the male Aes Sedai during the breaking, but that's why they're corrupted now, because they were made by Saidin.
Did they?
Because a lot of the males
Did they force the Ogiers to make them, and that's why the Ogiers still have access to them, or?
No, they tried to do it as a favor.
Okay. And the Ogiers, their lifetime is so long that they probably just remember.
Well, no. See, okay, here's the thing, and that's one of the things that I think that they are really not getting enough credit for is the dress and the hair, because that's how you tell where someone's from. Because during the breaking of the world, if you look at it as Earth, it's like, Eastern Asia was put into, all of these lands mixed together. So color or quote unquote race of how someone looks, skin color, whatever, isn't something really you can tell where they're from. It's more about how they dress, how they wear their hair, the jewelry they wear. Because during the breaking, everything was so mixed up that everybody became everybody. And same with the Uyghurs, they had or Gears or whatever, they have settings, and they got moved all around the world too. So they started to suffer from something called belonging, that if they don't go to a steading long enough, they die. But then they started to find them with the help of some of the male Aes Sedai who were going insane. And some of the male Aes Sedai kind of stalled the madness by staying at the steading, because you can't touch the power at the steading. And so they built the ways for the Uyghurs so they could travel a long distance to get to the steadings in case of belonging.
Okay.
And just as they did it as like a gift for letting him stay.
Okay.
Kind of.
So the gate opens.
It's a very long-winded explanation.
The gate opens into a fucking cave. Like, it doesn't just take you. Does it? Instead of it just taking you somewhere, it just takes you to another set of like doors that you then pick from, or is that?
Well, apparently it used to be a thing where it's like, it used to be like almost like you were walking through the sky and the clouds and whatnot. And because it became corrupted after so long of Saidin and whatnot, it is just black and dark, and you used to not have to.
So that's not where they're going. That dark cave isn't where they're going.
No, that's like the path. It's like he said, it's kind of like a path outside of the world. And so, like you said, you can travel great distances. But like I said, they made it so it was supposed to be like this idyllic place where they have these islands like not in the water, but like, almost in the clouds. And they have fruit trees on every island and these beautiful sculptures everywhere. And now it's all decaying.
Oh,
because it happened so long ago and it was made with Saidin. So it's a good foreshadowing on the things that were made with Saidin don't quite hold up anymore. Anything that was made after the taint was on it, it's kind of corrupted and it will not last forever.
My taint's not holding up very well.
You need to leave it alone. First of all, put some lotion on yourself. You gotta moisturize, man.
Moisturize. So they step into the cave, and then, Matt's just...
What the shit was Matt doing? I don't have any idea what's happening with that. I'm like, well, I don't know why he didn't go. Then the only thing is maybe because they went to chase the dagger in the books. The dagger is still in Tar Valon, and he wants to go steal it back.
That makes sense.
Or at least not leave where it's at. But I have a feeling that he's going to try to get the dagger and then follow them. But if he can't channel, I don't know how that would happen. So,
well, if he gets the dagger, I mean, he couldn't channel before he got the dagger to begin with.
No, I'm saying if you can't channel, how are you going to open the Waygate?
Oh, he'll figure it out.
I mean, like I said, then maybe there's another way. There's a button on the side. Where's the reset button? There we go. Got it. Hard reset. 30 seconds. Unplug it from the wall, and then the Waygate should be fine.
The elevator game, Justin. The elevator game.
No, not the elevator game. That sounds so scary. Quick little advertisement. We listen to these guys going west. They're a true crime podcast, but they do another one called Dark Parts, and one of their episodes is on the elevator game. You should listen to it. It'll give you chills in the back of your neck, that's for sure.
Yeah. I watch so much murder stuff that I like catch the same one on different ones. I'm like, oh, this is the guy. Yeah, yeah. Like I'll be watching another. Like,
oh, that was on Dateline.
Fucking Dateline. So yeah, I don't have much more to say about this. I could probably go on and on a little bit, but I need to just watch more and kind of like let it spell out a little bit more. But if you, where are you at with everything right now?
I mean, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I really like the Oath Rod book. This costumes in this episode are just crazy on point. Moiraine especially, Jesus. I mean, it's blood and ashes, bloody light, whatever you want to say. Like her costumes are perfect down to the little jewel on her forehead, and I like how the tower looks, everything. The ceremony is pretty good. And on rewatch, I don't hate the water thing as much. I don't hate it. It was a little over the top for me because I already had all that background. I forget people who are watching the show really don't have that background, so I like it a lot more. And the acting scene obviously is really good. Watch Nynaeve in the back, never saying a word, and her face is great. I think the bounties by Eamon Valda, like kind of like a bounty, were a good addition and just adds another like layer of nefariousness to the Children of the Light. And then just the reunion at the Waygate was really awesome. The Eye of the World, as I knew that's where they were going, but to hear him say it on screen was just like, oh my God, it's what I've been waiting for.
Yeah, we have 2 more episodes, The Dark Along the Ways, and then number 8, the finisher of the season on my birthday this year, The Eye of the World is the name of it. That's the name of
the last episode.
Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, like I said, dude, like the fact that you can't just open it, that could be very important. If someone with the power has to open a Waygate, that's going to come into play a lot. So,
yes,
all good things, man. All good things. Great episode. I liked it a lot.
And we will be back next week. Please, everybody, get involved. If there's anything you want to say, the easiest way to do it, Justin is all over Twitter right now. We have a great following, lots of awesome discussions. What is it, Justin? And spell it for him.
It's Wolf Brothers at Parched Ailman. So just like it sounds. And
there you go.
That's the easiest way. Hit us up. Discussion, fun jokes, whatever. It's a fun community, and
watch out for spoilers. Watch out for spoilers.
Oh yeah. Watch out for spoilers. And
Twitter's no joke for spoilers. I'm still on the fence about it. I don't want to inundate our podcast with spoilers if that's not what you want out there. But if most of our listeners just want us to go ham and get into it deep and talk about the books and stuff we haven't seen and stuff we hope to see, I'm fine to go there, but I'm going to keep that gate in place until otherwise told. If you have any questions you want us to address on the show or things we forgot, hit us up at thankthelight@gmail.com. That is thankthelight@gmail.com. If you want to check out some other podcasts, movie podcasts, spiritual comedy podcasts, fitness podcasts, and brave podcasts, check out whatsoundsawesome.com. We are officially on Apple Podcasts now, so if you've been listening to us on some...
I know, finally.
That was, I hate to say it, Justin, it was user error.
Oh, really? Okay, that's cool.
I only cost us a day or two, but the fact we weren't there 2 or 3 days ago, I was afraid I was going to have to start the clock over again. Like I thought when I fixed it today, it was going to be 5 more days, but as soon as I checked the right box, boom, it just popped up immediately. So,
excellent.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited for the next episode, man. I can't wait, so let's do it.
Hell yes. We'll catch y'all next week. Hang on. Wait for it. Depart now into the light.
May you find water and shade always. Bye.
Mixed and edited by Desmond McNeese for We Mixed It, LLC. Go to whatsoundsawesome.com.